Graduates of online colleges, such as EdTech, Devry, and University of Phoenix, were you able to find a job, or did employers mock your degree? Employers, would you hire someone with these degrees? Devry grad here. I've been told numerous times I didn't get the job because of my degree, which really sucks, and here's why. I'm a software developer, but I was self-taught and have been programming in C and C++ since age 16. I'm 32 now. Along the way I picked up VB, Objective-C, x86 assembler, apps such as OpenGL, some DirectX, MayerAPI, ISSDK, SDL, and a few others. I've written small games, plugins for third animation software, iOS apps, for personal use, nothing on the store, so I had experience. I was at school at traditional university, but got offered the chance to work overseas for a lot more than I was currently making. I took it and decided to switch to an online school in order to continue my education. I picked Devry because somehow it was accredited. It didn't have the bad online rap that it does now. It had both online and brick and mortar schools, and I knew a guy that went there that had a good job. It couldn't be bad, right? Wrong, way wrong. The first year started off great, then year 2 was pretty lackluster. Year 3 and 4 were horrible, but I just wanted to be done and have my piece of paper. I thought employers only cared about the piece of paper and not really where it came from. Wrong again. My first interview once I had my degree was for a Java programming job for a very well-known company with a good reputation. Now, I never programmed in Java, but the job description said they just want a degree, no programming experience necessary, and they'd teach it to you. Normally that sounds shady, but the company is very prominent in the East, so I figured it was legit. Well, I go to the interview. I nail every single question. The first interviewer loves me and is really excited that I was a fellow programmer and not one of the others who just had a degree. The second interviewer seemed to like me a lot too and wasn't going to ask me the Java questions since I said already I didn't know Java, but I told him to ask me anyway, and I nailed every single one of those too. They showed me the break room where I'd be sitting if I got the job, the exact cube, explained all the benefits, time off policies, introduced me to numerous staff members including my future boss, and told me I'd hear within 10 days. I never heard. When I called back they flat out explained that they don't hire Devry grads or it or Phoenix, basically no for-profit colleges. I was really bummed because I wanted that job. Instead of looking at my skill set, they looked at where a piece of paper came from. There were other interviews I had, or places I applied to, and when I called they said the same thing. No for-profit degrees, unless you have a huge amount of work history to prove you're not an idiot. Many other places instantly screen out for-profit colleges. They're a terrible decision, and I regret it every day. I can't blame them. People I was in class with had no clue how much they didn't know. They thought they were going to up and get these big jobs at big companies, only to have their dreams crushed when no one called them back. These schools are designed to make everyone pass by creating constant group projects under the guise of that's how you work in the real world. In reality, the group projects ensure a high pass rate because it's likely one student knows enough to pull the others along, inflating the graduation rate. TLDR, many employers have policies against hiring people with degrees from for-profit colleges. About 3 years ago I was working as an intern at a pretty big company and was at the time taking time off from college and was about to start applying to new schools. I was talking with the HR person about how much a college degree really mattered. Her response was, if you have zero experience, a college degree from a good school is a must. However, if you have lots of experience, it doesn't matter where your degree is from. I went on to ask her about places like EdTech and University of Phoenix. I will never forget her response because it was so blunt, and I thought she was joking at first, but she assured me she was dead serious. Her response was, we won't even look at someone that has a degree from those places if an applicant is naive enough to think that an online college degree puts them on the same playing field as a traditional college graduate. Then we don't want someone like that working here. I was kinda shocked when she said it, but I understood why she said it due to the industry. Lucky for me, our state college costs me less than an online college. I worked as a recruiter for one of these schools. I just want to give some advice and say please go to a regionally accredited university, community college anywhere other than online, for-profit schools. Go to an accredited school where teachers are genuine, the education is thorough and sincere, and you will be able to find a job without any worry, within reason, or at least not have to worry about your school being an eyesore on your resume. You may also potentially save yourself some money. Employers view these schools as a poor decision, though they can be convenient. I talked to enough people in a day who requested info and sign up at the end of the day, having never heard of us before the recruiting conversation. Not saying they are all like this, but it is sad how many are. Throw away for personal reasons. Devry grad here. Amazingly, I did manage to get a job in the field I studied for, and no one mocked my degree during the interview. The main reason I got the job though was through a recommendation of another person. I started out as at help desk and then eventually moved up to a system administrator of a local non-profit organization. While the pay is less than what I'd get at a regular corporate job, the benefits do make up for it. Great health insurance, 403(b) for weeks paid time off, etc. I will say this though, I got really lucky because Devry EdTech and other for-profit schools are looked down on by employers and thought as degree mills. If I had to do it all over again, I would have gone to my local community college and then transferred to a 4 years. Young, naive me thought he was going to a school that focused on the field I was studying in and didn't know it was a for-profit school. It will be forever a stain on my resume. Hopefully the 6 years and counting of experience I have now will outshine the Devry degree. My mom got her finance degree from University of Phoenix. She randomly found an application for a full scholarship online and applied. She ended up being the only person to apply and thus got the scholarship, making it so she didn't have to pay a single penny. She was working for the city at the time and applied to a few jobs. One job was a long shot halfway across the country, but in an area my parents always wanted to move to. They flew her out and called her that evening to offer her the job. We had to stop the car because we were so dumbstruck. They moved out a month later. Her job before the degree made around $35,000 a year. She currently makes $80,000, but is looking for some other jobs in the area because she wants to transfer to a slightly different line of work. Her degree hasn't held her back, obviously, but she could be a case of pure and simple luck and being a good worker/manager in general. Let's be clear, there are legitimate online colleges. For those that want a good college experience, search around. Many real colleges now offer degree programs, and then there's Western Governors University, non-profit, low tuition, online-only school that is well received and regionally accredited. EdTech grad here, though. I took all of my classes on campus, not online. I applied for hundreds of jobs after graduating, and did not get even one interview. However, this was throughout 2009, which was arguably the worst year of the recession. I eventually took a part-time job at a grocery store and worked my way up to management. I've been here 4 years now, and my degree is pretty much out of date. I still want to get into the ed field someday, but going back to school is not an option. Not really sure what to do from here. No, all I got were student loans in the range of $90,000. Now I'm desperately trying for a real degree from a real school while having to make payments on the EdTech loans since they are private loans and don't feel like being in deferment anymore. I think about suicide frequently. University of Phoenix graduate here. I was able to move up in the company I already worked for due to the classes I was taking before I finished schooling. I stuck with it and got my B.S. in IT. In 2012, I stayed in my position for 4 years. Recently I was promoted to an incredible job. I was a bit embarrassed to admit where I got my degree until a higher up pointed out my company's CEO also got his degree at UOFP. That made me feel better. I do wish I didn't rack up over $30,000 in student loans, but I wouldn't have the job I now have without completing my schooling. We were having trouble finding enough knowledgeable coops locally and decided to give some of those schools a chance. Not anymore. We saw a lack of work ethic in the couple we hired. Had certs but no actual knowledge and thought some aspects of the job were below them. Resumes that we actually got were horrible. My recommendation is to go to community college and get certs and actually put the time in to learn the material rather than brain dump it. You can also transfer to some in-state 4-year degree programs online and spend less for all of this than 1 year at for-profit. Basically, none of those places do not give the student enough of an education. Many of those programs have large knowledge gaps in them. This means that, unless the student was exceptional, they did not learn many things that a graduate from a traditional college would know. On top of that, many of these colleges don't care how well the person does. The result of that, there are many graduates who should have flunked, but didn't because the school wanted the money. Source: buddy of mine graduated from it. I have no idea how he graduated from there because he doesn't know anything about information systems or computer security. The guy you call at Comcast when your internet goes out knows more than he does. Are there really good people who go to those programs? Yes. That is not the issue. The issue is that for every one person who is worth hiring, 10 people graduated when they should have flunked out. Not an online school, but a tech school graduate nonetheless. I went to Universal Technical Institute for Automotive Technology and went through that PAT and SMOG programs. I got a job 2 months before I graduated with a Toyota dealership that I wanted, worked my way up to Lightline before the dealership changed owners. It shortly thereafter went downhill, so I quietly looked elsewhere and landed a job at a Lexus dealership near my hometown. So I relocated and start next Monday. The school is a very poorly run school, but it's a great business. Makes tons of money off of students going 30-40k in debt that leaves them financially crippled for the majority of their adult years. And even with my post 9/11 GI Bill, I still racked up about 20k of student loans because of the yearly maximum that the GI Bill can pay for. I hope this 2 years of free community college plan goes into effect, so schools like that lose business. Long story short, employers do hire from UT, but they fire them just as fast if they don't show that they learned something. The school shows a high employment rate in the field, but what they don't say is that the majority of those clowns work in quick lube jobs or busting tires. Very few of us get jobs with dealerships, and of those even fewer of us keep those jobs. I'm a college professor and administrator in a computing field. I have a very capable, caring, and committed adjunct faculty member who has 2 degrees from the University of Phoenix. If I wanted to hire this person full time, I would be laughed off the planet, because in academia, a degree from Phoenix or degree is worse than no degree at all. I counsel high school kids and older folks who've never been to college at a variety of sites online. When they are looking for an online degree in IT, I always tell them to look at online programs from the University of Maryland, Penn State, and Arizona State, which are highly respected universities that will land you a job. Oh, and unlike the for-profits, they'll actually expect you to learn the material they're teaching. Not me, but a guy I work with. He went to Phoenix Online to get a software engineering degree because he only had enough time and money to make that happen. He says he wishes he had gone to a real college and that they didn't give him enough of a challenge. Still, he's the CAD guy for a big project we are working on for a Fortune 500 company, so I guess it's a big step up for him since his last 2 jobs were at T-Mobile Retail and Pizza Hut. It might be a while before he gets a dev job and he's going to start out at a huge disadvantage, but his resume is going to look really nice after this project is finished, so he has a fairly good chance of making it if he can actually program. I'll be graduating from DEVRI with a BS in Electronics Engineering Technology in about 3 weeks. Everything was online. My reasoning for going with a full online degree was that I hated the classroom environment. I never liked going to school K-12. I never wanted to go back. However, I thought I needed that piece of paper that says I know something. I will say that the classes were very challenging at times. Basically, I had to buy all of the equipment that you would find in an electronics lab at school. Nice oscilloscope, multimeter, function generator, power supply, breadboard inkit, dev boards, lots of miscellaneous parts, and set up a home lab. Lots of hands-on learning, and you had to take pics and videos showing your results. I made some really cool projects, and my capstone project was a team effort with 2 other guys that turned out really well. In all, I would say that the disadvantages are that you cover a lot of material without ever getting too deep into anything. For the most part, I did enjoy my time there, and my favorite part was taking a series of 3 classes on embedded systems. We built some really cool projects, like a PWM controlled DC motor control system with optical feedback via slotted disk, which showed current RPM, target RPM, and the difference on an LCD. I'm pretty much resigned to the fact that I will have a useless degree and about $60k in debt. I didn't really know about the stigma behind online courses and every in general until I was already there for a few years. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I probably wouldn't do it again in hindsight,